What if I told you that the stories that actually grow your brand, that attract followers and drive buying decisions, are not the ones where you look polished? They're not the ones where everything went right. And they're definitely not the ones that you spent hours rehearsing until they were airtight. The stories that move people, they're raw, they're real. And a lot of times, they feel completely unfinished when you're living through them. Now, here's the kicker that most experts never hear. It's not the perfect success stories that earn trust. It's the messy, middle of the road moments, the ones that you'd rather sweep under the rug, that make people lean in and say, damn, this person gets it. I can trust them. If there was a way to take those messy middle moments, the doubts, the pivots, the almost quits, and shape them into trust magnets and authority builders, would you want to know how to do that? Because that's exactly what we're going to cover in today's episode of the Next Stage Speaker Success Secrets podcast. Hey there, I'm Lord Al Jensen, founder of Next Stage Communications. I've delivered more than 7,500 talks dating back to 1974. I've coached TEDx speakers. I've guided pastors, attorneys, and politicians. And I've walked out of storytelling contests with more than just applause. I've walked away with top honors. So when it comes to helping experts own the stage, the sale, and the story, I'm not just guessing. I'm reporting from the trenches. Now, here's the real deal. If you're waiting to craft some flawless rags to riches epic before you start showing up as the expert, well, you're going to watch people with half your experience and a quarter of your insight lap you on the track. The good news, you don't need a Hollywood ending. You just need a real moment shaped the right way. Now, by the time we're done today, you're going to know how to spot the hidden authority stories that you're already sitting on, how to shape your messy, imperfect experiences into connection points that move people, and how to start showing up as the guide your audience is already searching for, even if you've never thought of yourself as a storyteller. And because I don't believe in just giving you a pep talk without a plan, I put together a free cheat sheet resource for you called the Fixed-Up Story Starter Kit. It's loaded with fast prompts to help you uncover, sharpen, and build your next authority story starting today. Stick around and I'll tell you exactly where you can grab it for free just a little bit later in this episode. Now, most people believe that before they step onto a bigger stage, before they launch the program, before they write their book or raise their rates, they've got to have a perfect story. They think their story has to sound like a Hollywood script, a neat beginning, a powerful middle, and a triumphant ending. Tie it up with a bow, add a motivational quote, and fade to applause. And because their real life doesn't look like that, because their real story is messy, confusing, and likely unresolved, they think they have nothing worth sharing. They wait, they hide, they shrink. And while they wait for the perfect story to magically arrive, someone else with half their experience, half their insight, and maybe even half their heart, they grab the microphone, they take the stage, and they own the room. Perfection isn't what holds you back. Silence does. Let me tell you a story. You're in a crowded train station. People bustling everywhere. Announcements blaring over the speakers. Everyone is rushing, their heads down, their eyes glazed, trying to get to where they're going. And suddenly, you hear it. A single violin. It's raw. It's not perfect. The notes crack just a little. The tempo wobbles. But there's something real in it. There's heart. There's pain. There's hope. And it pulls you out of your autopilot. You find yourself slowing down, listening, feeling. For a few moments, you're not just commuting, you're connecting. Now, 5 minutes later, a flawless recording of a world-famous orchestra blasts through the loudspeakers. Every note, perfect. Every section is synchronized. It's technically magnificent, and you stop hearing it almost immediately. It becomes background noise, forgettable. Perfection pleases the mind, and imperfection moves the heart. Now, here's the connection. Your audience isn't waiting for you to play a flawless symphony. They're listening for the realness inside you. They're listening for the struggle, the cracks, the heart, the messy middle where they are right now. And when you show up with your fixed-up fable, your real, shaped, meaningful story, you don't just entertain. You don't just teach. You invite them in. You say without words, "Hey, I've been where you are. I know the way through. Follow me." That is when trust forms. That's when connection is built. That's when authority becomes undeniable. Your messy middle moments are your secret weapon. You don't need to wait until you make it. You don't need a 6-figure case study or a 10x testimonial or even a rags to riches movie script. You need to tell the story of the day that you almost quit, the moment you nearly walked away, the second that you doubted everything, but decided to try anyway. Authority isn't built by arriving. It's built by surviving. When you share your messy middle, you humanize yourself. You break down walls. You become relatable without losing your authority. Because when you share your journey, not just your highlight reel, your audience starts to believe, well, if they can figure it out, maybe I can too. And that, my friend, is the seed of real transformation. Not just for you, for your audience. Now, before you try to force your life into a neatly packaged success story, grab a notebook and answer this. What's one messy, imperfect, unresolved moment that you've lived through that changed how you help people today? Now, you don't need to tell the whole story. You just need the emotional pivot, the realization, the turning point. That's the spark that your audience will never forget. Now, if you'd like a little help pulling these moments out of your own story vault, if you want some smart, simple prompts that make it way easier to find and frame your fixed-up fables, I got you covered. I've created a resource for you, a free copy of the Fixed-Up Story Starter Kit, a cheat sheet packed with powerful questions and easy frameworks to help you uncover and shape the stories that build true authority. Now, if you'd put it to good use, you can find the link right now in the show notes. Just go to the show notes, click the link, and in moments, you'll have the Fixed-Up Fable Story Starter Kit. But I've got some serious meat for you right here, so let's get to the good stuff, shall we? Here's how you can craft your first powerful fixed-up fable. If you want your audience to feel you, to trust you, and follow you, you can't just tell them how smart you are. You have to walk them through a transformation that they can see, that they can feel and imagine for themselves. That's the real purpose of a fix-up fable. And if you want to build one, here's the roadmap. Step number 1, start with a struggle that resonates, not a trophy moment. The biggest mistake that most speakers and experts make, they lead with the win. Here's how I crushed it. Here's how I built a 7-figure business. Here's how I dominated in my field. Nobody cares yet because they can't find themselves in your success. They're still stuck in their struggle. You have to meet them there first. You have to rewind the tape to the moment that you doubted yourself, that you almost quit. You felt like an imposter and you didn't know what to do next, because that's where they are right now. And if you skip that, you skip the connection. Authority isn't built by showcasing your medals. It's built by admitting your battles. Now, here's the action step. Think back to a time when you felt stuck, confused, uncertain, maybe scared. You were in the middle of a messy situation with no clear way out. Write down what you were feeling, not just what happened, but what it felt like to live it. Now, here's step number 2. Find the emotional pivot point. The goal in your story isn't survival, it's transformation. You have to spotlight the moment where something changed. Not a gradual improvement, not a flicker, a realization, a decision. The emotional pivot point is where you saw the situation differently, where you made a new decision, where you took a different action, where you believed something new. Even if the change didn't fix everything overnight, the pivot planted a new future. The most powerful stories aren't about arriving at success. They're about deciding not to stay stuck. Now, here's an action step. Ask yourself, what was the realization? What snapped in my brain or in my heart? What did I suddenly see that I hadn't seen before? That's your pivot. Circle it. Anchor your story around it. Step number 3, frame the lesson for their future, not your past. Here's the truth. Your story, it's not a trophy case. It's a tool. And tools are useless unless you put on. Your story is not a trophy case. It's a tool. And tools are useless unless you put them in somebody's hands. And when you tell your fixed-up fable, your focus should be, how does this moment equip my audience? How does this give them hope? How does this show them a way forward? The best fixed-up fables don't just say, here's what happened to me. They say, here's what's possible for you. The best storytellers don't just share victories. They spark visions. Here's your action step. After you tell your messy middle and your pivot moment, add a sentence like, and that's why I believe you don't have to have it all figured out before you start. Or, and that's why I'm here to tell you it's okay to take the first step before you feel ready. It's about being present. Here's step number 4. Keep the story tight. Keep it focused and relatable. Don't drift into 12 side stories. Don't overload them with random facts, and don't try to impress them with complexity. One messy moment, one emotional pivot, and one audience-focused takeaway. That's a fixed-up fable. If your story feels simple, it's because you've made it powerful. Here's your action step. Trim the story until you can tell it in just a few minutes. You want it sharp, you want it sticky, and you want it easy for the audience to remember, to share, and anchor their trust in you. So, here's a quick recap. The Fixed-Up Fable Framework. Start with struggle, not success. Highlight a single emotional pivot. Tie the lesson to their future, not your past. Keep it simple, keep it focused, and audience-centered. And listen, if you're ready to build out multiple fixed-up fables, if you want a bank of ready-to-go, trust-building, authority-elevating stories that you can pull from anytime, make sure you grab the Fixed-Up Story Starter Kit. It's linked up right for you now in the show notes. Because inside there are story mining prompts. There are emotional pivot frameworks, shaping and framing templates, Real examples of messy moments turned into client magnets. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs your real story, shaped right. And that's exactly what we're building together. So if you're still watching or listening, it means something inside you already knows the truth. You're not missing a better story. You're missing the right strategy to shape and share what you already have. You're already carrying authority stories inside you, stories that your audience needs to hear, stories that can build trust faster than any slick marketing script ever could. And I want to help you get those stories out and working for you. So here's your next smart move. If you haven't grabbed it yet, get the Fixed Up Story Starter Kit, a link that's right there in the show notes. It's the quickest, cleanest way to uncover and shape authority stories, even if you thought you didn't have one. Smart prompts, clear frameworks, simple next steps. It's time to stop waiting for a perfect story and start leading with a powerful one. And if you're ready to move even faster, if you're ready to stop guessing, if you're ready to stop hiding the stories that could change everything for you, and instead start building a full, powerful portfolio of fixed up fables, stories that you can pull out on command to light up your talks, your webinars, your sales calls, your interviews, your brand messaging, and your audience's hearts, then the Next Stage Fixed Up Fables mini course is your next move. It's simple, it's tactical, and it's built to transform the way that people hear you, see you, and trust you. You'll stop stumbling through awkward intros. You'll stop freezing up when somebody says, "Tell me about yourself." You'll have the real resonant stories that make people say, "Damn, they get me. They really get me." Because that's how you go from just another voice to the guide that they trust, they follow, and they buy from. And here's a kicker. It's only $37, a $37 investment to master the skill that separates the forgettable from the unforgettable, the noisemakers from the movement leaders, the hobbyists from the real authorities. You'll find the link right there in the show notes. And you don't have to figure this out alone. You don't have to hope that your story just works. You can know exactly how to shape it, how to share it, and move people with it. Because the stories that build movements, brands, and legacies, they're not perfect. They're real, they're intentional, and they're already inside you, just waiting to be shaped. You're carrying the stories that can build your business, your brand, and your legacy. The only question is, will you shape them before someone else steals the spotlight? Let's make sure it's your voice that they follow. Now, if this episode has helped you, if it's sparked something or made you think, dang, I really needed this, here's what to do next. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Drop a comment or a review. I'd love to hear what hit home for you. And share this with the speakers, coaches, consultants, and leaders that you know who are ready to stop hiding and start leading with their real story. Because here's what I know. Your story matters. Your voice matters. And your messy, imperfect moments, they matter even more. Not because they make you look good, but because they make you real, relatable, and trustworthy. And that's what this noisy, complicated world is desperately searching for right now. People are looking for real guides, real hope, real leadership. And that leadership starts with the story that you choose to tell next. So let's make sure they never forget it. I can't wait to see you on the next stage.